There's nothing wrong with that, making it easier.
Yeah, but you said you hadn't bought a piece of equipment since 1965.
Yeah, I don't like to spend the amount of money that it costs to buy that stuff now to do it. I can still climb whatever I want with the equipment that I have. I don't have to go out and spend the money on the new stuff.
That's why we're going to have to go back one day and get that chalk.
It's expensive.
Has climbing gone through the same kind of thing that skiing has?
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Of marketing and commercialism?
Exactly. Yeah.
We'll talk about that for a minute.
Sure it has. Well, it's fashionable. Climbing has gone from an activity that was like a Hells Angels sort of association to something that's fashionable. It's okay to be a climber. It's all right. It's more than all right. Look at this. I mean, it's not only all right. It's you can achieve celebrity status if you're a climber. So it's a nice, respectable activity to do. You can actually invite a woman to go climbing, and she won't spit in your face. And that is a change. That's a radical change from what it was as I knew it 20 years ago. And,
many of the students that were in your class today and in the other classes we've seen were women.
Mm-hmm.
When did that start, and what does that mean?
About 1965.
What happened?
Roughly, I mean, if I had to pick a particular year,
What
it
happened?
was a slow process. It just got more respectable.
Are women good climbers?
Sure. Some of them are. Some of them couldn't climb their way through a wet Kleenex. But same with men. It's one of those activities that anybody can try and do and be good at. And gender has nothing to do with it.
Have you ever thought about giving it up?
Giving it up?
Yeah. Where? No, that's.
All right. Okay. No.
Where does? It's a physical activity,
Mm-hmm.
and we all get older.
Yeah.
And unless you're really a remarkable person, as you get older, you get weaker,
Mm-hmm.
and you can't do the things you did before.
Right.
What do you think about when you think about that?
I just think, well, I'll just keep doing easier and easier climbs. Giving it up, I was like, you make it sound like like alcoholism or some sort of drug fixation or something. Giving it up. No, I can't imagine giving it up.
Just an off-the-wall question.
Yeah, no, it's too much fun. It's still the best thing I've ever done, and I get the most satisfaction out of it.
Chuck, and among climbers in, say, modern times, who do you respect?
Who do I respect? Oh, just name somebody.
Well, you can start here with the name on your jacket. Excellent.
You bet.
And
Sure. There's one. Name somebody else.
Willie Ansel.
There's another one.
Move up to some of the people who from this area, or that you from Yosemite, Royal Robbins,
Mm-hmm.
Chenard,
Mm-hmm.
who sort of stands out? People you climb with or met. And I'm talking about as people who are like you more than just climbers, who are real people, genuine people.
Oh. As opposed as opposed to some climbers.
You know, I've never met Glenn, but that show was very touching. I'd love to meet him.
Well, that's one of the things that appealed to me about the sport in the first place, was how individualistic it was. That, here were a bunch of individuals who were so radically different in every other way, but when it came to climbing, somehow there was something very common that they shared. And you could be a nut, you could be a psychopath, you could be an insurance salesman or anything, and somehow all of that just fell aside, and climbing was the main thing, just because of what kind of satisfaction all these people were getting out of it. So I admire everyone I ever met. They were all individuals. I suppose an early influence and someone that I first had contact with was Harding. So I still retain a special feeling for him.
Did Warren teach you a lot, or was it just...
Yeah, he did.
He would be, you would consider him as your primary teacher, or?
He was the most immediate influence in that particular group of people when I started climbing, the ones who were active and that I had contact with.
Could you tell us about him? Because I don't really know much. I mean, I know who he is. Jim probably never heard his name.
No, I haven't.
You said he put up the nose route, cap.
Yeah.
Could you tell us about him? His approach and things like that?
Well, he was an extreme individual, even in a collection of individuals. He was more individualistic than any of the others that I ever met at the time. Then he was trying to climb the nose of El Capitan, and at the time, it was 1958, 57, when I just first started. It was hard for any other climbers to even relate to what he was trying to do. I mean, it was such an extreme step that when there was no one else, he got friends and other climbers involved in the project, and it was a project to try to climb this thing. Half Dome had been climbed. Royal and his group had done that the year before. And that was the next biggest thing around, so that's what he decided to tackle. And it took months of effort, work to do it. And he was the main influence, driving force behind it all the time. I don't know how many climbers were associated with the project off and on. Finally, they finished it. But he had an incredible drive, and he was an extreme individual. And I admired that at the time, and still do.
Now, you use the word extreme, which is not one of my words, but is this synonymous with outstanding?
Sure.
He was an outstanding. He stood out from